So for millions of successful African diaspora professionals, the corner office, and I mean your cushy office, possibly came with a hidden cost. That is disconnection from your roots. But what if your next biggest investment isn't in stocks or bonds or startup investments, but it's in actually rediscovering who you truly are? So today we are joined by my very good friend, Mr. Kwabena Obeng Darko. He's a Pan-African entrepreneur. He's an engineer, an author, and a voice of influence amongst entrepreneurs across Africa. He's based in Ghana, and he's watched countless diaspora returnees stumble not just over business plans or over business acumen and business successes, but he's also seen people struggle just because they experience what I call cultural blind spots. So Kwabena is here to share with us why understanding our heritage is just not about wearing kente or eating African food, right? It's not just about that, but it's actually about building a bridge between your success as a professional and your soul. That connection that bridges your success and your soul. So whether you're a professional from Paris or you own a business and you're living in Frankfurt or New York, this conversation might just be the missing piece in your puzzle of purpose. So stay with us as I bring Kwabena on board. So Kwabena, you are most welcome. You're most welcome here. Yeah, you're most welcome. And yes, I would want to preempt that. Yeah, I want to preempt that this is the third time we are having a podcast, and each one of them
that's right,
amazing. So you are a treasure trove of knowledge. And I don't say that lightly at all. I've observed what you've done over the years, and I really must commend you that you've brought hope, particularly to our young people who took it upon themselves to do something for themselves, to better themselves. And one thing I've also noticed about you is one of your calling cards is you're a man of integrity and high ethics. And I really want to commend you for that, and also for the time you are spending with that. We appreciate that.
Yes,
so you are most welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you.
Also,
we are in the service of the Lord.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Awesome.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you and good to talk, man. Anytime I talk with you, I feel energized and I feel enriched.
Yes, sir.
So before we dive deep, just to start, before we dive deep, can you share with us, right, your personal journey of maintaining such a strong connection with your African roots or African heritage? Along your journey of building your business, not business. Right now, you have businesses, right? So I just want to find out what triggered you seeing the need to build a strong connection with your African heritage, your African roots, on your journey to building businesses. And what moments kind of shaped your cultural, if I would say, quote unquote, pride. It's not pride in enormous, but I'm just lost for words. So I'm just, what are the things that shaped your thinking like that?
Wow. Thank you. And I greet everyone who's here.
Awesome.
I'm a bit curious. My background, I ask questions. And, as a science student, as an engineering student in school, history was not really part of our bringing. I remember, preparatory school, history, we were just focused on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and the other things, And if there was anything that they would teach us, I think in what a sports subject, PE or something like that, they would talk about Spartan and those things. I did not grow up so much intentionally studying African history, especially the history beyond our interactions with the Arabs and our interactions with the Europeans. So I will take that to the university and even complete the university and not be so much intentional about knowing myself and my history as an African. Now, it happened, it was just on and off, but I started to read some articles. I remember I read some articles from Professor Molefi Asante and some articles from Runoko Rashidi, doctor. And these are African Americans. And they were so much in the African kind of knowledge that I did not hear growing up. What I saw was the cultural sense of Africa. So being an Asante man, your name is Kwabena Darko, the marriage ceremony, the funerals, you see our queen mothers in Kente and then Sinkran, you see our chiefs in Omutia Pakem, that kind of thing.
Yeah, their regalia and everything.
That's right. And you see the other Ghanaian cultures or Ghanaian tribes, everybody exhibiting something unique. But the knowledge that will defeat our worship, so to say, the way we saw the other people who didn't look like us, particularly the Europeans, I don't think the cultural knowledge was enough. And so I was always questioning, because you will grow up and they will tell you that, if you see a white man in a village, he was riding a car. He was in a car, he was very much, everything was attributed to him. His wisdom, his knowledge, his prosperity. He was a bit different kind of human being. So that was the question for me. So the journey was, how do I diffuse that? And so I happened to school in some of these, I was in a hostel with some of these guys. And that's where it dawned on me that they saw me differently. And they actually saw me as somebody, who was poor and who didn't know much, even though they were in the same class and they were reading the same thing, because of the kind of knowledge I had about myself. I remember I had a first degree, actually. So I said that, no, let me search. So I happened to have a series that a Christian preacher did, and that sparked a lot of fire in me. And that was Apostle A.C. Price. He did a series
Price of blessed memory.
A series on race, religion, and racism.
Racism. Oh, I remember that. I was, that's like 10, 15 years ago.
That was a controversial message. Very controversial message. But I think that was not controversial. It was something that Africans needed, and it was something that Europeans needed themselves. The only thing is that, you see, the knowledge that will lift the Africans up tend to be controversial. So if you don't take care, you will never even pay attention to it. And he did a lot of research, and that brought a lot of light to me. And then I started to buy books from a lot of African historians who had a heart to see Africa progress, who loved Africa. I'm not talking of academic historians who just read something and they're still very much uncomfortable in their identity. I'm talking of Africans who were so much established in their identity. And when I started to see that, I said that then there's nobody is better than us. It's just the information that they have given us. And that is why I think my identity was restored. And many of us, with technical understanding, with technical knowledge, with this kind of education that they give us, that we continue to defend. But really, if you go to the university that you and I went to, and you come out as an African without this other information, you are basically, you don't know yourself as an African. Even though it's something controversial, but when we meet us and we are talking, you see that our identity as Africans is in balance. Why?
It's true.
Because, I mean, the European, when he was going to school, nobody would tell him that take another name from Africa. And he will go to school with his language. Myself, we are Khans. Why are we speaking English? Because something happened. But the Chinese, when they are not speaking English. When the European, the Americans are talking, they are speaking their language. But for us as Africans, there is something that has happened And that thing has distorted a lot of things in our mind and in the way we see ourselves. And so the average African, when you meet him, you live with them, you saw them. Everything that they say in defense of the status quo, of the hegemony of the European. And the average African will tell you that, you know, African leaders are corrupt. We are not very sincere people. We are underdeveloped. These are words that Europeans have used over the last 500 years, and we that they train, we are using the same thing.
That's the words we use, right? That's right. We are going to go there very shortly. But if I may, let's delve deeper into me. I can see the connection. You know, there are two connections that I can see with you being a friend, right?
Yes.
I can see your level of confidence. You are a humble person. That one I know. But I can see your level of confidence is above the average African. And I also am tempted to think that that could be the reason also why in your business you're seeing success.
Yeah.
You know, so correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a link between your belief system or let's say your empowered belief as an African, where you do not look down on yourself? Yes. Where you believe that you were placed here as an African by design and on purpose.
Yeah.
And you have a rich contribution to give to society. Yeah. And you are proud of that. Is there a link between that mindset and what you've been able to do in your business and your you're doing amazing. You're all over on the news and radio stations, lifting people up, particularly entrepreneurs, and coaching people about how things work in Africa. Is there a link between this kind of belief? Are you interested in connecting with expert professionals from the diaspora community? We've built something special, a platform called Find Diaspora Experts. This platform helps you connect with top-tier African diaspora experts to get advice over a video call. The use cases for such a platform are many, but let's just run through a few. The first one is this could be used as an expert resource for corporate training. It could also be used as a resource for keynote speaking engagements, also for executive coaching, for special consulting services, and then last but not the least, as a pool of expert talent for recruitment. So if you are interested in being the first to know when we onboard new experts or when we launch new expert-led cohort-based courses or training programs, then click the link in the description below to join our early access list. Thanks, and let's jump right back into the video. See you there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a link. Your personal identity comes from the knowledge you have about yourself. And if that identity is in question, everything that comes out of you is in question. And if there is any element, if there is any key to success, a lot has to do with self-confidence, where you see yourself, the way you believe in your ability to deal with challenges of life, and the way you see yourself as enough to solve problems. And that stems out of the way you think of yourself. And how you think of yourself is based on the knowledge that you have of yourself. And so if the knowledge that you have of yourself as an African is weak, you have weak self-confidence. But if the knowledge you have of yourself is strong, then you will be a strong African. And so technically, you see the way that they brought us, the kind of history that they taught us, because the knowledge we have of ourselves is really the history that we know about ourselves as a people, you know, and as individuals as well. So if the knowledge is colonized, where everything that represents you is virtually not up to standard, then your sense of the sense of identity, the way you see yourself, your self-image will be impaired. And so long as that one is impaired, you become paranoid, you become negative, you become pessimistic, you don't become hopeful, you don't feel like you measure enough, and you are always trying to use other people to measure yourself. You shoot yourself down, you think low, you can't fight enough because you do not see yourself as competent and strong. And I don't think that the knowledge that we have of ourselves as a people, the history that they have taught us, is enough to make us a courageous, strong, and confident Africans. And so that's why it's so key that your ability to learn beyond what they have taught us, and they continue to teach us, is so key to you building yourself as an African. Because it's not just you seeing yourself as somebody else. You are building what you have as an African. And so when the other guy is in suit and tie, I don't have problem if I'm not in suit and tie. If the other guy is speaking English and I'm speaking P, I don't have problem. If the other guy is using a management system that is based on their standard, I will not call it international standard. Okay. I'll call it their standard. I also have a standard that way.
There we go.
Try to confuse the two. Why? Because he's been taught to cherish what he has and where he comes from. And I think that everybody must cherish what they have and where they come from. And that will come from the kind of knowledge that we have of ourselves. So it's non-negotiable to really have yourself, your history intact as an African.
Yeah, that is very powerful. That is super powerful. And especially, you know, the link, you and I have had discussions in the past where we discussed a little bit about, you know, the fact that if you're an African, the system is couched to make you think that you are inferior. Yeah. So and the system has been so endemic and ingrained in our subconscious sometimes that we act that system without even knowing we are acting it. Yeah. You know, by looking down on ourselves and that kind of thing, you know, and if you can't love yourself, there's no way you can project that love onto others. And you know, I think this may come towards the middle part or the end of the podcast where we are, you know, I think I will let you take us through why some of these things affect even our abilities to love each other. Because Africans, we engage in a lot of competitive jealousy. Yeah. Maybe this could be part of it. But before we get there, I just wanted to ask a question on the fact that many successful, I would say, African diaspora professionals, right? Okay. They struggle with what some will call cultural imposter syndrome. And this is what it is. Big English for nothing. Cultural imposter syndrome. It just means they are not feeling African enough. Yet they are not fully Western also. So I want you to comment about this kind of syndrome and what that leads to, because you are an African, but you see yourself that, maybe, or the person sees themselves as maybe an advanced form of African, which an advanced form of African is interpreted as an Europeanized African or Americanized African, right? Yes. So you are not fully baked into Africa yet. And then at the same time, too, you are not even recognized as a European or American. What do you say about that? I don't know if you've noticed that.
You know, so they're hanging. They're like pendulum. And you can see that creates a lot of inner frustration. Yeah. So it does not really matter their level of accomplishment. There's still something that they cannot connect with. The fulfillment, the inner peace, the sense of pride, and even the sense of purpose and destiny will still be hanging. Why? Because they are trying to deny where they come from, and then where they want to go to, they are not fully embraced because they are not part of it. You know, and those who are able to build on their root, it's just like a tree trying to go up without its roots. It's impossible. And so I think that you can live in America and still not see yourself as European extract or European or as somebody who is not African. And that will mean that you have to really have different kind of knowledge. You know, so it settles on you being established as I am an African. I'm not Chinese. I'm not somebody of, I'm not Caucasian and I'm not Arab. I am African. I can live in America, but I am an African, and that will come from the way you speak about where you come from. Wow. So when you meet them and they are speaking well of their heritage and you so much concur, but then when it turns to Africa, you agree with them with all the evil descriptions of us, you are not centered. You are not established in who you are. And so you easily agree with them. As a matter of fact, people are the ones spearheading all the, the funding, the begging, the grant to Africa, the poverty. So when they come, my friend is a neurosurgeon in America. When he comes here, he's trying to come and, give us support, help us, because we need help. Africa is poor. We need help. We need aid. We need better growth, loans. Africa is not poor. It's a narrative that somebody has pushed on us and we have embraced it. It's a technique.
We've accepted it.
Call them this name until they accept it. It's a warfare. Are you saying that there are no challenges in England?
Oh, there are many.
There's not any group in America that is poor.
Many.
America will never use that percentage to describe themselves.
No.
We Africans.
I was just going to say, frankly, what you're saying is so true, because there is no major American city I've visited that does not have the equivalent of, let's say, what we call in Ghana, like a shack or a zongo or a ghetto. There's no city has it. Dallas, Texas has it. Chicago has it. Actually, San Francisco is even worse. Okay. All these people who live under bridges and by the side of the road, and they are natives that like Caucasians, and they're living in abject poverty. But you don't see that here.
Okay, so the funniest thing is that person will come from that community and come to Ghana and say that he wants to help us. And the African who was born here, who lives in America, will spearhead that because his people need help. It's a fallacy for you to say that Africa needs help. You take Africa out of the world's history, and there's no future, there's no past. Africa has never been poor. It's a description based on somebody's standard. And so we are the ones to say that enough is enough. We have our challenges, no doubt about that. But don't use that to describe us. We are not that one. Wow. There are a lot of part of Africa that is doing so well. Why are you not using that to describe us? Because of the training that they have given us. And so your friend who is a medical officer in New York will easily agree with that kind of description. Meanwhile, when he goes to his village, look at the family house, a big one, there's no mortgage on that one. But he still thinks that his village is poor.
Wow.
His uncle has a cocoa farm, no debt, he's built his house, taking care of the family, and this brother from America will come and speak American English and tell us that his uncle is poor. And his uncle will even agree with it.
Man, so basically it's almost like I had never really thought about it that way until now. So basically it's like most of our condition and our plight is just prophecies that we have declared over ourselves.
That's right.
Centuries.
Yes.
And whatever you say long enough, sticks.
Yes. Call them. Why do you think they call Africa poor? You look at World Report, IMF, America, all these embassies, every time that they are showing any program, they must put something there like that. Africa is poor. It's a strategy. Condition them to be poor so that you can subjugate them forever. So even when you live there, they still try to tell you that where you come from, you are poor.
It's not good enough.
That's right. To shift the way you see yourself so that they can easily conquer you. That is the technique. But the African there will fight me. I'm trying to say that let's look at it differently, but they will spend a lot of energy to fight me than to fight the other one who's been doing this damage forever because his consciousness is not established. So there's a difference between an African who has some consciousness and an African who has some just culture. Many Africans have just African culture, but the African consciousness, the awakeness to fight for your dignity and say that, listen, we have something that we can hold on to and it's worthy of, it's worth being head on. That one, they will spend a lot of energy to fight you, and so that a lot of our people are lost in that.
Okay, good. So in your mind, And I'm glad you brought this point up. So in your mind, there's a difference between African culture, like normal culture, and then you're talking about consciousness.
Yes.
So it appears to me that to you, what you value the most is not necessarily the culture itself.
No.
But it becomes the consciousness.
That's right.
Is what you think is more important.
That's right. So when I go to school and they are talking of Plato, that is a European philosopher. I am also looking for an African philosopher.
I get it.
Beyond that age. So when I go to Legon and they are teaching me philosophy, it's not European philosophy that they are teaching me. Unfortunately, when you go to Legon to learn philosophy, the one that is dominant is European philosophy, not African one. And so the African professor that has gone through that, whether he's become an engineer or a doctor or whatever, the base of his education is based on European wisdom.
I get it.
Therefore, he cannot think as a conscious African.
Okay.
And so that person will come and lead the community. And it's easy for them to go to IMF and take a loan.
Man, these IMF people are going to come and get you, man. That's somebody's business, man.
That's
anyway,
right. Yes. You go easily. I agree with them. Oh, let's sign. Give all the contract to them. So their businesses will come and extract all your minerals because the guy who is leading it philosophically is not centered as an African. Because the philosophies that he refers to or he quotes are all Europeans. And for them, knowledge started with Europeans, you see? But it should not be. European knowledge should start with European. Chinese knowledge should start with the Chinese. And the African knowledge must start with the African. Yes, everybody must have their own. And that calls for the consciousness. And so the African who is educated and who does not know that will easily be overcome. By the wisdom of the Arabs, by the wisdom of the Chinese, by the wisdom of the Europeans. And when it comes to his own people, he says, we have not done anything. We're living in darkness until some people came. We were naked and they came to help us. They came to civilize us. A lot of Africans talk like that. But look at Ghana Empire, for instance. They ran for almost 1,000 years. You think that they were very much foolish people. So they could not mine their own gold. They could not manage their own businesses. They could not live with their own research management system, health system. They didn't know anything until the Europeans came. That's a lie.
No.
Look at the Mali Empire. Even look at Asante, for instance. Study the Asante Kingdom and see the systems of governance, the family system.
It's computer systems.
That's right. And instead of you to be taught this in school, they are rather trying to teach you something from the Greeks, something from the British Empire. And that is why many Africans are in that level. And so I am more for the African who is conscious. And so when the African is not conscious, it does not matter his profession or his impact, his level of education, really does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
They can easily be overcome.
Wow.
And they can easily sell their people.
Yeah. Wow. So my next question would be, so beyond surface level engagement, like, wearing traditional clothes and, eating African food, and I'm talking my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, right? Doing all those kind of things. What does meaningful cultural connection, look like for these people beyond all these kind of surface things, which are all good anyway?
Yes.
What does, when we say this is meaningful culture, this person has meaningful cultural connection, what does it mean?
The culture really expresses the intelligence of the people, the knowledge they have about themselves. The culture is a protective mechanism. The culture is a system of education, based on the level of understanding of the people. But you cannot just live in the culture if you are not using the knowledge that you have to build your economy, to innovate your solutions, to solve the problems that the people meet, to handle the population growth, sickness, to create prosperity, empire, to make sure that your people live long. And these things can only be done when the solutions are built based on the culture of the people. It's just like creating a solution for a bed using the fish as a model.
It doesn't work.
There's no way. So the culture is there to inform us that our solutions must be different from the other people. And it can only agree when we meet at the same point. There are things that are common. but many things will not be common. So which means that even your business solutions cannot be different, cannot be same as the other people with different culture.
Man, that is okay. Actually, that is getting me excited, because that's where we are headed. So basically, in your mind, what are, and we'll talk about the business, but I just want to tackle this real quick. What are some misconceptions, my brothers and sisters from the African diaspora, right? Particularly professionals. What are some misconceptions they may have about returning home, right?
Yeah.
And how can they shift their perspectives to reconnect meaningfully?
All right.
You know,
so the other day,
I'm asking you this question because I know you know this answer. I have been picking lessons from you, so I know this one. You know, what are some of the things you've observed?
Yes.
Our brothers, our brothers and sisters.
All right.
So myself included.
All right. The other day I was doing an interview with Denta. A lot.
Okay.
It was done in English, so many people watched. A lot.
Yes,
of
that was wonderful.
Ghanaians have watched all over, and I made some point. I said that when you are coming back to Ghana, you are not coming to help us. So take that.
Say that again.
When you are coming to Africa, you are not coming to help us. It's not help. Take that from your mind. Because if you come with that thinking that I'm going to help them, then any little thing that they do, any little opposition that you meet, I'm bringing you help. If you don't like it, I'm going back.
I'm going.
As if you're not from here. So you are not coming to help us. And I give an instance that when you are taking care of your mother or your father, it's not help. It is your duty.
Responsibility.
Yes. To make sure that they live. It is required of you to provide this. So it's not help. You are not coming to do us any favor. And that is what many diasporans come with. I was working in America. I was paid $100,000 a year. And I came to Ghana. I came to sacrifice. So that God, you didn't come to sacrifice anyway. Ghana took care of you. So when you come, you are not coming. So just coming to make sure that you work your part. It's a bargain. You do your part. We also do your part. The other thing is that you are not coming with the same thinking. You expect a lot of things to function in a particular way there. It should not be the same. They are different culture, financial systems, different things. And so when you are there and you come here, don't come expecting the same thing to happen. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. How you handle us, how do you treat us? And so you come with a lot of respect and patience. You expect us to behave the same way that you behave there. It's a different thing. When you go to China, do you expect them to behave like Americans? And if they don't behave like Americans, you say that they are backward? No. You expect that the Chinese are different. It's the same way. You go with some sense of respect. So the same here. When you come, you make sure that you come with a lot of patience. And our institutions are corrupt, our people are corrupt. No, don't come with that. Because the same corruption, you see them there. But you gross over them. But when you come here, you have already tagged us that we are dishonest people. So any little thing you will see it. Somebody says that we don't even follow time. If you look at the train system and the transport system in these countries, do you have the same transport systems here?
No.
So why are you expecting the same kind of efficiency when we don't have the same infrastructure? So it means that look at the community that you are, and build your expectations based on the systems that are set there. I'm not saying that we should not improve. We should improve. But you cannot go beyond the support infrastructure. Your expectations must be tailored based on what we have. And focus on looking for the good things in our country, in our continent. Look for the good things. There are many. You say that the boy is not honest with money, no problem. But when you have a funeral, the same boy that you didn't trust will spend the whole night with you. You send him everywhere he will go. Not another balance.
I get it.
People, you get lost somewhere and you can ask anybody and they will jump into the car and go and show you and come back.
So basically you are saying that if you want to see the bad, you will see. And in as much as there's bad, there's also the good side.
Equal measure.
Equal measure. And the good side, it requires patience to be able to see the good side.
Yes.
And sometimes the good side overcompensates for even the bad side.
Exactly.
That's incredible. Okay. So what would you advise somebody who maybe came in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And came with the good intentions?
Yes.
I wouldn't, you are banning me from using the word help.
You don't come and help us. You don't need your help.
With all the good intentions, you have all the good intentions to do their best to support, right?
Yes.
And this person comes in, and the moment they start their business,
yes.
their workers maybe
yes.
steal their goods. I know
Yes.
a friend of mine. He came, and I think he's gone now. Came, set up some supermarket kind of thing, and then 1 year down the road, the shop attendants, they just satisfy themselves with the goods in there, and he's like, man, this is so terrible. Crazy. So when somebody is like that, from the context of what you're saying, what do you advise them to do?
Okay, so I would say that those are no good experiences. Nobody's saying that. But how did you pick those people? What measures did you take to pick them? What kind of training did you give them? You know, what kind of consciousness did you develop in them? You know, if you look at the things that we use, if you come and use pity to employ people, that's danger. You know, and even if you're employing, you look at the burden that the person has. It's also key. If you pick somebody who is doing nothing with 3 children and you put them somewhere because you have sympathy. Meanwhile, it's a business that you're building. So many times it's the approach. Come with they say they have put CC camera there, they have put computer there, so the people cannot beat the system. Who told you? And so you have to pay particular attention to the kind of people that you employ as a person. And the other thing is that our system is said that you don't come with 100,000 to open a shop, big one, and you have never done anything in Ghana. Even if you are built business somewhere.
That is so important.
Different culture. And so you are not coming, you build. The people who are able to build here and make and being able to make it sustainable or sustained is because they pick, some of them were selling on their hands, on their heads. And they went to tabletop. They built that. They got a kiosk. They built that. They opened a shop. They opened it, and now they are growing. They have exercised to carry that load. You came with only money, and you think that from the culture that you are, if you have money, the system, the society can just help you easily to run it. Ours is a bit different. It's not just money. That's why a lot of multinationals have come here, and they have run back in spite of all the millions that they brought. Because the cultural understanding is key. The systems, the regulators, the things that we deal with, you must have proper understanding of them before you blow up or before your business is open up. You know, so especially if your business is targeting the 80-90% of the people, then you must understand how the people work and how things work here. So you don't come from the very top position with a lot of money and open big shop, because that's what your friend did. He came with money, opened a big shop, he employed some people, and he thought that he was in business. He was not in business. The best form that we use here are the organic growth model for many of us.
This is so important, man. I did a podcast the other day, couple of weeks back, and I was just pouring my heart out as my own personal experiences. And my friends, you know, some people that I know that took the same path that I did, like coming back. And I had come to the conclusion that I will never enter a business that I do not have any prior knowledge or experience in. I won't, because there's a cost to pay. There's a tuition fee to pay, and part of the tuition fee is like, you know, employees stealing from you because you have no knowledge, you have no core knowledge of what you are doing. You just said, "Oh, this thing, they said there's money in it." Oh, then so you are more like you're a gambler. And you just run into it. And most of my diaspora friends, colleagues, this is the temptation we run into, because you come in and then find will come. Oh, they said if you buy quarry trucks and you be able to make this kind of money fast. If you did water bottling or whatever it is, you'll be able to. But you have zero experience. You've never done it before. You know, and so I said, anytime you're doing something, I think the essence of it was make sure it falls with the vertical of your domain. It shouldn't be too off.
That's right.
You know, and this, what you said, just nailed it on the head for me.
And that's what you have said. I think that you just model it, test it at a small level. No matter the money that you bring, test it. Run it full chain, full stream. Let's say you want to start, let's say you want to do maybe 100 hectare cocoa farm, or let's say maize. Don't come importing the tractors and combine harvesters, planters, everything. No. Test at least 2 acres, 3 acres. You will know the workers, the way they behave. If your machine breaks down, you will know how the mechanic will maintain it, the chemical, and where you are even going to sell that product, the market. Everything in between, the regulators, how you deal with them. When you have tested the model at a very small level, test the model at the medium level and see. Before you go full swing. But you have not done that. You just move machines here because you have money, or you have grant, or you have loan. You will sweat to make the model work. A model must work. Even if you go to the factory, for instance, you don't just mass produce anything. You test it. You build it. You make sure that it suits the market before you mass produce. But you want to go mass produce without having a model that you have tested. You go to the lab, it's the same thing. You test something to make sure that it's really what you need before you mass produce it. But people will just think that it's just money that you need to bring. No. So you test the model.
I think you've just even entered my next question, inadvertently. I was just gonna ask you that what would you say in your view, because Kwabena is a successful, I think you're in real estate and all those things, you are in there. You've done so many things. So if I may put it this way, what would you say would be to you the top 3 things our brothers and sisters from the diaspora should understand before they start a business in Africa? What would be? I know there are many, but maybe the top most. Yes, okay. Like the top 3 in your view, from your experience.
Okay.
I know you may have mentioned a few of them in a scattered way, but I want to bring them home and bring them together.
Understand yourself.
That's right.
Understand yourself. You should be really, really an African who is built himself. So you come with that kind of thinking, the kind of thinking that Dr. Nkrumah came with.
Okay.
He came in as an African. He didn't come in as a diasporan. He came in as somebody who belonged. So come with that. If you have not come with that, then make sure you work on that before you come.
Okay.
The other thing is that you make sure that this system is different. So come and learn that system. When you travel, you learn that system. You understood it before it started to work for you. So if you don't come with that thinking or that disposition that I'm coming to learn, this system is different from me. This culture is different. The people are different. How we buy things are different. And you don't come with a lot of, you don't go and borrow and say that you are coming to establish business with that. Don't come up, even if you have money, stay cool with it a little bit. It's not so much about the money. It's so much about your resilience, your resolve, your determination, your consistency to say that I want to make sure that it works, and you have to give yourself long term, at least 10 years.
Wow.
Don't give yourself 1 year, 2 years. No, it's not 1 year, 2 years.
Many people are not that patient.
Then you can't work it. How many billionaires that you have seen that were billionaires in 2 years?
It doesn't happen that way. I mean, there may be 1 or 2, but it's not. That's not the norm.
No.
You're talking of 30 years, 40 years.
That's right.
Yes, to be a
billionaire. So you give yourself minimum of 10 years. You're trying, you're failing, you're trying, you're failing, you're trying, you're failing. It picks a point. And the thing about it is that always know that explosive success, exponential success is nowhere but on the continent. And it's in every field. The kind of success that you see will blow your mind if you're patient and you pay your dues and you go through the difficulties and the challenges. So the first 5 years, you will go through a lot because you have actually become a different person. And now you are re-engineering. You are trying to reconnect with a different thing. It's a painful experience for many people, but if you're able to endure it and it starts to work, the things that you built here, you will never imagine it that you could build those things here. Why? Because the wealth really is here. And so know that you are not coming to a poor people, a poor continent. They have the statistics. The next 10, 20, 50 years, Africa, there's nowhere that you can have the volumes of wealth than here. And it's always been like that. We are the ones who don't know it. So you can see the average Chinese man with Chalo want to come here. And in 5 years is a millionaire. The Lebanese is the same. The Europeans, look at the mining companies that they control in Africa. So come with that thinking that I'm going to create wealth. And it will take me a lot of work, a lot of toughness of heart and mind, and no frustration. Every experience will be enjoyable, no matter how painful it is. You must always try to interpret the experiences differently, even though it could be difficult. But that's what it takes. Why? Because the kind of system that you're expecting that works is a different system here, so to say. It's a system that is trying to evolve by itself, And so you are going to have a lot of difficulties, a lot of infractions, a lot of, restrictions along the way. But those things should not break you. And so you resolve to say that I'm going to stay to make sure that it works. And eventually it works, actually.
Yes, awesome. One was on the same entrepreneurship line. There's also another group of diasporans. They would not take the risk to come here, or to come and live, and it's understandable, right? But they run businesses or own businesses in absentia. Do you think that is sustainable here? The way things are done here, can you stay in London or Europe and run your business on the ground without you being present?
We have a lot of network of diasporans who are picking some of the things that we teach, and many of them have. Just the other time, a man started to listen to us. He's in England, and he listened to us June, and the other time, just October, he sent me a message. He says that I am harvesting 200 bags of maize. He's not come to Ghana. How did he do that? He was able to connect with some young men, and his approach in handling them is different now. He has some confidence in them. He tested the concept on a small scale, worked, and now he has a very strong team. And so I would say that pick young minds, young men and women, and work with them. You can manage them. Because of technology, there's a lot of information that you can easily gather if you really determine to do that. So it's easier to do some of these projects that you don't see money every day remotely. You can manage them. So it's easier to, let's say, manage a farm, than to say that you have a provision shop that you're managing, even though those are all possible. But I think that people are doing it all over. I know people who have 3, 5, 10 even businesses, and they have not come in the last 2 years. It's because they have been able. You have to have a team. You must develop a team which is on the ground if you're not coming. And I will even say that you see the people who are not even born here are coming all the time. And so don't close your mind to say that I will not come and look at anything. Once you come from here, come. Just spend a week or two, a month. Just take a holiday. Instead of go to France, come here.
Yes.
Come and see what is happening. Because it's a different feeling when you come and see. The Ghana that you left 20 years ago is a different Ghana.
It's a different one.
It's a different one. It's a different one. And it matters the people you connect with when you come. You connect it when you come. So I think it's possible. Many people are doing it now based on the team that they've been able to build on the ground.
So is the team and the type of business?
That's right. The team and the type of business. And the type of business. But if you say you bring spare parts and send it to, these other guys, is different. But people are doing a lot of projects there. The other thing is that you don't just pick the team, but you develop with them.
You develop with them?
With them, yes. You tell them, these are the realities. You are truthful to me, we can go far. And you test them. They prove themselves, you increase it. And you conscientize them that we are all trying to make sure that we lift whatever we have together and prosper together. Some of them will fail. Some of them will take time to catch up with you. But it's a journey for everyone. And so that is the kind of heart that you have to have.
Wow.
And you don't use every fall through to curse us and blame us. Oh, no.
I know. So right before we wrap up, right? So I wanted to find out. So for those who are fortunate enough to have had maybe very powerful career successes.
Yes.
They are financially stable. Yes. They are not hungry at all. They've achieved big things in their host countries.
Yes.
What advice would you give to those kind of people in finding purpose-driven ways of reconnecting back to their roots or reconnecting back home? These people, they don't need money. Okay. They've done well.
Yes.
The diaspora well to them.
Yes.
They may not be top level CEOs or whatever, but they are fine.
Okay.
Those people, they still have that emptiness, that feeling in their heart, that sense of belonging, though. What do you think they can do about that?
There's a man who
that
called
point.
me. Yes, there's a man who called me the other time. He's a top security man in America. He said, "Kwabena, I've been watching you. I dig you. I actually dark you. Try to see if you're authentic." And he, according to him, says, "Yes, I mean, you're truthful." And I was trying to build a house here. I put it on hold because the people were screwing me. But based on the things that you were teaching, I use it, and now I'm almost I've almost completed the house. And when I came, I love fruit juice, so I'm looking at if I can process fruit juice in Ghana. He came. A lot of things switched in his mind. And so I think that it is your duty. Africa is all of us our duty. No matter how much success you have seen in those countries, they still refer to you as an African. So it's on all of us to make sure that at least we have a generation that is thinking differently and that is committed to making sure that our continent is on the right path. And I think that is a higher sense of purpose than just thinking of only your interests and yourself and your family. I think you live a better life when, based on the number of people that we've been able to change, people who can swear that without you, I could be nothing. And I think that you can think of your village or your town or your city and see the things that you can do. If it's an education that you can promote, maybe a TV network that you can build, a hospital that you can build, a farm, a factory, something beyond you, which we must all do. Because we're enjoying something that some people sacrifice for us. Some people even lost their lives, and we could be alive today. And so what are you losing or what are you leaving behind? That is very much key. What are you leaving behind? If you're no more,
legacy.
how would we all remember you? And would you be proud dying as African with the state of Africa that you'll be dying with? So that sense of destiny should strike you. And that's why I think it's always a new turn for almost everyone who has not done that. The first phase of your life, maybe you lived for you, but the second phase, you must live for us.
That's amazing. The first phase you live for you. Yes. The second phase live for us. And I think that is I was studying the life of the gentleman who came back to build Ashesi University.
That's right.
Patrick Awa. I did a podcast on his journey recently. Yes. And as I was researching, I was really touched that the gentleman left a very cushy job. And frankly, it's not everybody who can leave because of family issues, marital, many married of reasons. So when I say he left, I'm not forcing or I'm not pushing people to take that journey, but I just want people to conceptualize the lessons. Yes. And what he did was he left Microsoft, did his postgraduate, and then within the vicinity of him coming, he finishing that postgraduate, he came to Ghana and to start a school in a rented place with only 30 students, but he was determined.
That's it.
And today, look at the product. The products of Ashesi, well, I don't know whether you've ever hired any one of those people. They are phenomenal.
That's right.
If you hire a student from Ashesi University, you can go to bed. I'm telling you. They are so good. They are in such high demand in a country where unemployment rate among the youth is sometimes around 50%. Ashesi University records nearly 0% unemployment rate. And it all started with one person who had the ability, the skill set, then the passion to make that difference. You know, so So what you're saying is amazing. Yes, I know you're about to jump onto another call, so I'm just going to wrap up. My last question to you: those who have children in the diaspora who are culturally lost, what should they do for the next generation? What should they do? What can their parents do to get them connected to their continent, to get them connected to this African consciousness?
That's right. As a matter of fact, your identity is your protection. Your identity is your destiny. If your child looks like me, you will never be Caucasian. And the Caucasian can trace their history. What history can your child trace? Your language, your name. For instance, your children will have Osei Kisi.
Yes.
They are not Charles Darwin. So they must have that heritage knowledge. And so I would say that bring them instead of you taking them to another country, bring them. and find a way to make sure that they learn their language. Even if it's not fluently, they learn their culture. And give them history books to read. History beyond slavery and colonization, because they have taught them a history from a weak position. Oh, we came to enslave them. We came to colonize them. Teach them something different so that they can see their greatness. And so I would say that find a way. There's technology now. Make sure that they're learning their language. Make sure that they are coming to visit your big family. It's healing. It's a learning experience. Many people who are socially strong are strong leaders. And they are strong achievers. Because a lot of strength comes from that. But if you box them in a very limited exposure, a limited life, you weaken them or you weaken them. And you prevent them from exploring and becoming great themselves. You know, so the world has opened up, and you still want your children to live a very limited life because you think that they have American accent, British accent. It's not about the accent, it's about the intelligence that they have. That is the key. Some people don't have any accent in America, they are governors.
It's true. It's true. Oh man.
Why? Because they're established in their identity.
Yeah.
And that's what changes the game, actually.
That is awesome, man. My brother, thank you so much, man. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. If somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they get you? I know your YouTube channel is your name.
Yes. Obeng Darko. Yes.
Obeng Darko. Yes.
Yes. And our books, we have about 8 books. You know, we have new books now in financial
intelligence.
Wow,
I read your first 3 books.
Okay,
right?
We have
this. I read them.
Yes. Opportunities.
Yes.
We have perspective.
Let me make
African advantage. We have financial freedom.
No, let's go over it again. You know, let's start.
Okay, so we have perspective, which is here.
Wow.
We have stream.
So for each book, right? Each book, just give us one sentence as to what. Okay. Yes, it's important. Okay, so I know your time is.
Perspective is about developing the mindset to start and build your business. It's basically what we talk about.
Awesome.
Talk about your identity, connecting with the culture, and building the vision, developing the team, and making sure that your solutions are in the culture. You know, so these are some of the things that we're talking about. Perspective. This is financial education. How to teach yourself money. If you have wrong money data, your finances will be everywhere. You owe and not be able to pay. You borrow and you can't handle it. You'll be lying. You will spend beyond your means because you have wrong financial data. Many people will just express the information we have about money. It's not because there's a demon somewhere, but it's because of the knowledge that we have about money. This one is resilience. It takes a lot of toughness to be successful.
I read this one too.
That's right. And so that is resilience. This is unlimited opportunities. People say that Africa is poor. I say it's the other way around. It's the other way around.
Unlimited opportunities.
Unlimited opportunities. This is African advantage. The African advantage is in business, is entrepreneurship, is in innovation, is everywhere. That's why a boy can just get one aboboya, and the next time you come, he has 10 of them.
Yes, aboboya is a tricycle. Those who don't know aboboya is it's like the Nigerian call it what? Is it keknape or something?
Okay. Okada.
Okada, Is that yellow tricycle thing?
Yeah. Wow. And this is self-investment. The difference is in how you invest in yourself. If you don't have
personal development,
you depend on only your certificate to be worn. A lot of the things that you need to learn in life to become successful, not necessarily coming from the classroom. It's coming from what you put in yourself. And
let's say a big
financial intelligence.
Oh, financial intelligence.
You must understand the system that creates wealth.
Wow.
Finance is a system. The systems in Ghana that will create wealth is different from the systems in America. You know, they are debt driven, we friend. And so you must know what works everywhere. This is financial freedom. If you don't have financial freedom, you are not free. You know, if you have to live on your salary,
you are not free. You are not free. Yes. Wow. So where can people get them? Is it on Amazon?
Okay, so these books are on Amazon, both hard copy and soft copy. And if you're in Ghana, you can have them from M Shop at Accra Mall or MV Shop in any other mall. My number is 024 6631 874. 024
We will put it on the screen. We'll put it on the screen. Kwabena, God bless you. Thank you so
God
much for
bless
your
you.
time. Yeah, and you are doing an amazing job. Let's flood his Amazon account and grab his books. I've read 3 of them, so
Wow.
I didn't even know you had many like that. So
Yes,
I'm going to get back on the train and read. I normally read them like over a weekend. I'll just pick one and I'll finish it, and
wow.
so yeah. So I have a few weekends to catch up. Man,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you and for the insights and whatever you whatever virtue that has come out of you. We want to say we appreciate and we honor you. Ghana is proud of you. You've done a good job.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome, awesome. And also you can visit his YouTube channel, Obeng Darko. He's trending. His video with Denta, you have to watch it. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. So let's support our brother. Let's push him. And if content like this excites you, remember, subscribe, like the YouTube stuff to encourage us to even do more, to bring more people like Kwabena. And thank you all, and we will see you. Bye, Kwabena.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.